There's something disorienting about standing in a place you once called home and feeling like a stranger. The job you prayed for, the dream you worked tirelessly to build, the path you poured your whole heart into. And now, it doesn't feel like yours anymore. You retrace your steps, wondering where it all went wrong. Did you miss a sign? Did you move too fast? Did you give up too soon? But deep down, there's a quieter ache, not of failure, but of outgrowing. As if you're wearing a version of your life that no longer fits your skin. As if something inside you has shifted, but the world around you hasn't caught up. And so you find yourself in the in-between. Not lost, but not quite found. Not broken, but not sure who you are becoming. Maybe this isn't the end of the road. Maybe the road simply no longer fits the version of you who started it.
Everyone tells you that if the road suddenly disappears, you must have taken a wrong turn. That if something no longer excites you, you've become lazy or ungrateful. That if you're confused, unsure, or stuck, you've clearly made a mistake. But what if none of that is true? What if this uncomfortable pause is not a detour, but a divine recalibration? What if the path didn't abandon you? It just finished serving the version of you who chose it. There's this lie we quietly inherit, that consistency equals success, that quitting or shifting directions means failure, that if something once felt right, it should always feel right, or else something's wrong with us. But here's a truth no one tells you. Growth makes old alignments fall apart. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your spirit is asking for more truth, more depth, more alignment with who you're becoming, not who you've been. Sometimes outgrowing a path looks like disinterest. Sometimes it feels like exhaustion. And sometimes it shows up as that nagging inner whisper, "This isn't me anymore." It doesn't mean you failed. It means you've evolved. And now the life you build doesn't match the soul that's building you.
There's a quiet panic that sets in when the familiar becomes foreign. You wake up one day and realize the thing you once wanted with every piece of you, the job, the relationship, the routine, the identity, now feels hollow. You don't hate it. You're not even sure you want to walk away from it. But something deep within you aches because it no longer fits. And yet, instead of listening to that ache, you tell yourself to push through, to be grateful, to stick it out, because that's what strong people do, right? But what if strength isn't pushing through what no longer serves you? What if real strength is letting go of what no longer reflects you? Here's the thing. Most of us don't outgrow a path all at once. It's gradual, subtle. At first, it's a whisper, a feeling that you're slightly off. Then comes the disinterest, the weariness, the resistance to wake up for something that once lit your soul on fire. But because we associate discomfort with danger, we assume something is wrong. The truth is, discomfort is often a signal, not of danger, but of emergence, of becoming, of a shift taking place within you that your external world has yet to mirror. Imagine a snake shedding its skin. It doesn't do so because the skin was bad. It does so because growth made the old layer too small. Likewise, the version of you who chose this path, they weren't wrong. They made the best decision they could with the awareness they had. But you are not that person anymore. Growth is supposed to create tension between who you were and who you're becoming. Have you ever tried to wear clothes from 5 years ago, thinking they'd still feel the same, only to realize you've changed? Not just in size, but in shape, posture, preference. That's what happens on a soul level too. The way you think, the way you love, the way you define success or home or belonging, all of it shifts. But because we live in a world that praises clarity, certainty, and having a 5-year plan, we've been taught to fear these inner transitions. We've been taught to see uncertainty as weakness, rather than what it truly is, the soil of rebirth. What if you're not lost? You're in the sacred space between identities. What if your discomfort isn't a warning, it's a blessing in disguise? What if this strange, liminal space is not something to escape, but something to honor? Because the path didn't betray you, it simply served the part of you that needed it. And now your soul is ready for more.
Let's take a breath. Because maybe what you need right now isn't a new plan. Maybe it's permission to not know, to not force clarity, to not rush into something just to escape the discomfort of being between what was and what's next. You're not falling apart. You're falling inward. And in this sacred unraveling, something powerful is happening. You are shedding the version of yourself that chose based on survival, validation, fear, or who you thought you had to be. And what's left? Something raw. Something real. Something quietly, beautifully unfinished. This isn't the breakdown. This is the breaking open. You're not being punished for changing. You're being prepared to receive a life that matches your becoming. The delay, the disinterest, the detachment, they aren't signs you failed. They're signs the old has expired, that your spirit is craving alignment, not just with goals, but with truth, with purpose, with integrity. And the truth is, alignment never requires you to push harder. It invites you to listen deeper. That subtle nudge you've been ignoring, that quiet pull towards something softer, slower, freer, it's not your imagination, it's your intuition. The new path isn't something you have to go out and hunt. It will reveal itself the moment you stop forcing yourself to fit into what you've outgrown. And when that path comes, it won't require you to betray yourself. It won't ask you to shrink, twist, or perform. It will feel like exhale. Like coming home to a version of you that doesn't need to prove anything to be worthy of peace. So let yourself drift for a while. Let yourself not know. Let the ache be holy. Let the quiet be sacred. Because you're not behind. You're becoming.
Maybe you didn't lose the path. Maybe the path simply led you back to yourself. Not the version who had all the answers. Not the version who needed to be seen, or needed to win, or needed to make it all make sense. But the version who is willing to sit in the unknown and still believe, still breathe, still trust that what's next is not something to chase, but something to allow. Let this be the moment you stop chasing clarity like it's a finish line. Let this be the breath where you surrender to the unfolding. Say it with me. I haven't failed. I've evolved. You don't need to force the next step. You don't need to go back and fix the past. You just need to honor who you've become and allow the road to rise up and meet this version of you. Not the one who needed it to make sense, the one who is ready for something deeper. Because you are not lost. You are shedding. You are shifting. You are exactly where transformation lives, in the stillness before the bloom. And the new path? It's already forming beneath your feet.